Hi, my name is Jake, and I am a bookish drummer. So for this video, I'm joined once again with my lovely wife, Stacy.
Hey.
Go check out her channel, The Chapter Conundrum. But for this video, she has concocted a little game for us to play. We've already played this game, but you were the victim.
Yeah.
But now I'm the victim.
Yeah.
What game are we doing?
So essentially, I'm going to read out some first lines of books that Jake is interested in or that are on Jake's TBR. And he's going to be blindfolded and have no clue what they are. And he's just going to give us his off-the-cuff impressions or reactions to the first line or first couple lines. And it was interesting for me to do this challenge when I did it. It definitely kind of solidified my instinctual reading taste for me when I found out what the books were. Like some I reacted to poorly, and once I found out what they were, I was like, oh, that makes total sense. Like, this wasn't really strong on my radar anyway, or this is something I wasn't sure I was gonna love. And then there were some that I was very interested in. So yeah, I just want him to kind of have that experience too and see how it goes for you.
Yeah, I'm not sure, because we actually did like a first line, like actual challenge where I was supposed to guess what the books are, and yeah. I was not very good at that.
Yeah, and those were all ones you had read, obviously. These are going to be books you haven't read.
I feel like a lot of my favorite books don't necessarily have great first lines. So I don't know, like, even if a book has like a fantastic first line, like, I don't know if that's an indicator if I'm going to like the book or not.
Right. It'll be interesting for you to kind of do this and see how it goes.
So are all these books that I haven't read?
Yes. As far as I know, you have not read any of these. And
these
most are either on your TBR or want to read or are on your radar. Obviously, we own all of them physically. And I think there might be one or two that you are not maybe sure if you're interested in or that you're not interested in.
Okay. So I definitely had a couple in her video that she was definitely not interested in, but it was fun to get her take anyway.
And I knew right away when you read the first line, I was like, nuh-uh, I'm not reading this.
We'll have that in the dibbly-doo down below. The dibbly-doo, because that was a fun video to do. So
yeah,
go check out that video. But for this video, we're just going to go ahead and jump right into it. Got our handy dandy blindfold here,
which are my sleep headphones.
Yeah, and don't worry, I won't be able to see anything with the blindfold anyway, but I don't really like things over my eyes, so I'm just gonna shut my eyes anyway.
This goes to the middle.
I'm just gonna have my eyes shut anyway, so I'm not gonna be able to see anything. So I'm only gonna be relying on my ear and my hearing, not my ears.
I mean, your ears for your hearing.
Yeah, my hearing and my brain.
All right, well, I wrapped the books in my Snuggie to bring them out.
Okay.
Okay, and I'm showing that. No, I'm not showing you guys what it is either, right? Because I want to get your impression in the comments.
Okay, I don't remember how we did it.
I don't remember either, but I think that's how I'm going to do it in this one.
Okay, so you're not going to show them initially, but you're okay.
Because it'll be fun for you guys to have the same experience alongside Jake.
Comment down below what you guys think of these first lines as we go along. That'll be fun. And then at the end of the video, we'll figure out what the heck's going on.
Okay. So, you ready?
Yeah.
Okay, first line of book 1. Moldering bone crumbled beneath their boots as Lord Martis and Bargle Ashnazai lowered themselves down into the tiny chamber beneath the earthen mound.
Okay, well, for sure this is fantasy.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Perhaps.
No, this is a domestic thriller.
You never know.
Yeah, it definitely sounds like fantasy. it might even sound like older fantasy, maybe, because of these weird names. Yeah, I'm also, like, I don't have to guess, but, like, we also don't have a lot of older fantasy. It could be, I mean, I don't know what it is, but that's kind of the impression that I'm getting, is that it's just kind of maybe a stereotypical, like, older, not like super old, but maybe like 80s, 90s fantasy book. And this is kind of the start of a journey.
Okay. Do you think you will enjoy this book based on that line?
Can you read it again? I've already forgotten it.
Moldering bone crumbled beneath their boots as Lord Martis and Vargul Ishnazai lowered themselves down into the tiny chamber beneath the earthen mound. Do you want the second line?
Sure.
Oblivious to the pervasive odor of swamp and old death, to the dank earth filtering down the back of his neck and into his hair, Martis crunched across more bones to a rough stone slab at the back of the chamber.
Okay. Well, feels very descriptive heavy, which makes it also sound like it's older fantasy. I mean, so far it's good. It's nothing. It's hard. I guess it's harder for me to know without like digging deeper into it. But like, I'm initially intrigued by all these bones that they're stepping on.
Okay.
Are you gonna?
Something went down.
Yeah, clearly. Are you gonna tell me what this is?
Yes, and I'll tell the audience too. It is Luck in the Shadows by Lynn Flewelling, and it came out in the mid-90s. So it is older fantasy.
Yeah.
But not quite as old as you were thinking.
Okay, well, I mean, I know Lynn Flewelling because of the Tamir Triad, and yeah, those books are very well written, in my opinion. So it does make sense that this is very descriptive heavy from the beginning. And her books, they're not like super dark fantasy, but they do have some darker elements. So it makes sense that these characters are kind of just walking through some bones. So yeah, I'm definitely more intrigued now that I know it's Lynn Flewelling.
Oh, I'm just getting the next one ready here as you're talking.
Okay.
Okay, you ready?
Yeah.
I killed my first man today. The air was hot, muggy with moisture, filled with flies. Emily had not known hot before she came to these swamps.
That's all one line?
Well, yeah, the first one is like in italics with the three dots after it. So it's not really like a full line. And then the rest is like the actual first line.
I guess.
It's not a chapter heading. It's like definitely italicized font over the front. I killed my first man today, ... The air was hot, muggy with moisture, filled with flies. Emily had not known hot before she came to these swamps.
Is there like a semicolon in there?
I guess filled with flies is like the end of the first sentence.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, that's more than one line.
I gave you 2 lines, okay?
Well, okay. Okay, read it again now that we've established that this is not one line. Because that threw me off.
I killed my first man today, ... The air was hot, muggy with moisture, filled with flies. Emily had not known hot before she came to these swamps.
Swamps. Oh boy. And I am initially intrigued by that very first line of like, I killed my first man today. Like, what does that mean exactly? Killed first means that she's willing to kill again, or she will in the future. Yeah, this is also, why is she killing? And now she's like in a swamp. Like, what is happening? I am intrigued.
Okay.
And I'm also wondering, like, is this just like a thriller, or is this more on the supernatural side of things? I don't know. I don't know what to think.
Okay. Any other thoughts before I tell you what it is?
Is this a book that I'm like wanting to read, or is this kind of like a random book?
It's a book you're wanting to read.
Am I like super excited to read it?
I'm not sure. I think you're excited. I don't know if you're like super excited, but you're excited.
Is this by an author that I've read before?
Yes.
Oh boy. Books that I know about a woman who's killed a guy and she's gonna read this switch sentence again.
I killed my first man today. The air was hot, muggy with moisture, filled with flies. Emily had not known hot before she came to these swamps.
Yeah, this is. Yeah, it's maybe like a thriller or a horror book. I don't know. Like, what the hell is this?
It is, I'll tell you the author first, because that'll be a fun reaction. It's Adrian Tchaikovsky.
Oh. Okay. So, Guns of the Dawn.
Yes.
Okay.
And I held it up right before you said it too.
So I was wrong. So,
yeah, but you did know that you were interested in reading it. You found a lot to be intrigued about, and you do want to read it. So your reaction to the first line tracks with what you think you know about the book.
Yeah, but I thought it was a thriller, and this is more of like a military fantasy book.
Yeah.
So way off the mark there. But I do want to read this book.
All right, you ready?
Yeah.
Everyone is looking at me funny.
So it's first person. Everyone is looking at me funny. This my initial reaction, this could just be a gut feeling, is that it's a Sonnenblick book.
So you think it reads younger?
Yeah, because just instinctively, like, kids or young people always think that people are looking at them and like paying attention to them.
Okay.
When in reality, like, most people just don't care. So that makes me think it's like a younger person. I'm trying to think of other books that could have like younger protagonists, but like also, but Sonnenblick, like, I've read most of his stuff, so that would be. Have I read this book before?
Not as far as I know.
Okay. Is it a Sonnenblick book?
No.
Okay, so I'm way off the mark, probably.
Why don't I read you the second line, because that's going to change your impression.
Okay.
Everyone is looking at me funny. When I pulled up to the scene of the accident in my truck, all eyes and flashlights were trained on the small lake into which a car had nosedived after flying off the highway and through a guardrail.
Okay. So, probably more of a mystery thriller kind of book. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. I think another gut reaction, I know this isn't guess the book, but like, is it that one, oh God, what's the book called? I don't remember. Okay. Is this an author that I've read before?
I don't think so.
Okay, so does it? Is there like water on the cover?
Yes.
Like black coral?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
what it is.
Yeah, because that second line helped so much. Because the first line, I'm like, oh, middle grade.
But yeah, there's a guy like scuba diving.
Yeah. Because I was trying to think of thrillers that have to deal with something in the water, and that one I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The tagline is, "She dives below, a killer waits above."
Yeah. So yeah, that one. Yeah, the first line did not help at all because I was thinking like, oh, it's a Sonnenblick book, but then the second one, like, oh yeah, that's a mystery thriller book.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm intrigued because I already knew basically the premise of that book, but like, yeah, that I'm intrigued enough to want to read that book.
You like the writing
I mean, it's just a couple of sentences, but
so far?
it's fine. Yeah.
Okay. The old gods were broken by wars and plagues of the mind, left reeling like the most bloodied veterans.
That definitely sounds like fantasy.
Potentially.
Or sci-fi. Like
Potentially.
it could be Adrian Tchaikovsky again. I don't know.
Only I would be that nuggety.
Read it again, please.
The old gods were broken by wars and plagues of the mind, left reeling like the most bloodied veterans.
Okay. Yeah, it definitely reads like fantasy. it kind of reads like more, maybe it's like more modern fantasy. Like with the Lynn flowing. Well, that's not like classic fantasy, but it was definitely more descriptive.
Yeah.
This one's kind of more like straight to the point.
Yeah.
Read it again, please.
The old gods were broken by wars and plagues of the mind, left reeling like the most bloodied veterans.
Yeah. Shot in the Dark. Again, this is not supposed to be guessed, but like, is it that Bradley P. Bolio?
No.
No, okay. Is it modern fantasy?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we have a ton of modern fantasy, so I doubt I'll be able to guess it then.
Yeah, but what are you intrigued by anything? Do you want to read this? Like, what are your feelings on the book based on the first line? Do you think you'll like it?
Yeah, I mean, sometimes fantasy books with like god stuff, like gods interfering and stuff, like it doesn't sound like that, but sometimes if you have like a whole mythology on the gods and like the gods are up to no good and all that stuff. But this one, for what it is, it does sound intriguing.
Well, why don't I skip to the first line of chapter 1, because that was just the prologue.
Okay.
So the first line of chapter 1 is, the consequences of their last job chased them west.
The consequences of their last job
chased them west. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so this almost sounds like it's a group of people or like maybe a duo. Am I getting that kind of sense?
I have no idea. I haven't read this either.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. It's vague enough to like you want to keep reading because you don't quite have a firm grasp on the situation.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm intrigued enough.
I like that the writing is straight to the point. I mean, that's a plus for me.
Oh yeah, I could definitely tell it's more a modern prose.
Yeah.
So what is this?
This is a book you have slated for a buddy read in January, and it is Beyond Redemption by Michael R. Fletcher.
Wait, January?
Yeah, next January.
Wait,
we are reading this together. It is the fantasy book read along for the Discord in January
of 2026.
Yeah, we've already decided this.
What? When did this happen?
When Pat gifted this to me, and he said he was down for a buddy read, and then you said you wanted to read it too, I said, okay, we can make it January.
You must have asked me this when I was like half asleep, because I don't remember this at all.
We put it in the Discord chat, in the schedule chat. January next year.
I don't know. That might need a fact check.
I'm pretty sure we did.
Well, I'm definitely interested in reading this book because Michael R. Fletcher, like Obsidian Path, that's one of my favorite fantasy trilogies. So, yeah, it makes sense that I would be intrigued. I guess, I don't know. Maybe for that book, I would have expected more because it's a lot of dealing with like people's like mental health and like their mental health stuff like is a part of the magic. So I thought maybe that might have played more a role in the first lines, but I'm still intrigued enough.
I mean, it did say that they were like plagued, the gods were like plagued by something of the mind, right?
Okay.
In the prologue.
Yeah, I guess it makes sense then.
Are you ready for the next first line?
Yes. Also, how many books do we have?
I got 12, and this is number 5.
Okay, we're almost halfway there.
On that damp April morning, Ned Cullen started his day with a glass of cheap champagne gone flat, a cup of cold black coffee, and a murder.
Oh boy. Well, it's definitely not modern fantasy. Well, maybe it is. I don't know. Yeah, my initial guess is thriller, horror, mystery, that kind of realm. Read it again, please.
On that damp April morning, Ned Cullen started his day with a glass of cheap champagne gone flat, a cup of cold black coffee, and a murder.
Okay. Yeah, this could definitely be like a random, like detective POV. Kind of straight to the point of like we're introducing the character right away, and we're introducing like what his day is gonna look like, and murder. Like, is he the murderer or is he discovering the murder? That's intriguing. So overall, like after that sentence, I would want to keep reading.
Okay. Do you want the second line?
Sure, maybe there's more context to be had.
So, on that damp April morning, Ned Cullen started his day with a glass of cheap champagne gone flat, a cup of cold black coffee, and a murder. It was still pitch dark outside, an hour shy of dawn, when he arrived at the East River Hotel at the corner of Catherine and Water Streets, the champagne bottle tucked somewhat absently under his arm.
Oh boy. I do like that fun detail of like he's still got the champagne bottle like on his arms.
Okay.
But yeah, this makes it seem like, yeah, it's an intriguing character. Yeah, I'd want to keep reading.
So you're vibing with this one?
So far, yeah.
Well, that tracks because this is one of your all-time favorite authors.
Is it Lisa Jewell?
Nope.
Okay.
Not even close.
One of my all-time, like, who's another one of my all-time favorite authors?
George R.R. Martin.
Oh. The hell is this?
This is the first line of the first, I guess it's novella in Quartet.
Wait, okay. What's the novella?
I forget. Hang on. It's called Black and White and Red All Over.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay, this is like... Okay, well, yeah, I have not read this. Wait a minute.
It's 120 pages long-ish in this edition.
I might have to fact check this, but I thought that was supposed to be... That's like his unfinished Jack the Ripper novel.
Oh, okay. Well, there are 4 novellas in here. The first one is called Black and White and Red All Over. The second one is called Skin Trade. The third one is called Starport. And the fourth one is called Blood of the Dragon.
So Blood of the Dragon is all of the Daenerys chapters put together in the first book.
Oh, okay.
And then Starport is like a sci-fi thing, and then Skin Trade is his werewolf thing. Can you read I'm so confused now. Read that, because this is like, I'm so confused now.
I'm not lying. Part 1, Black and White and Red All Over. Part 1, April 1891.
Okay, yeah.
On that damp April morning, Ned Cullen started his day with a glass of cheap champagne gone flat, a cup of cold black coffee, and a murder. It was still pitch dark outside, an hour shy of dawn, when he arrived at the East River Hotel at the corner of Catherine and Water Streets, the champagne bottle tucked somewhat absently under his arm.
Okay, so this changes everything.
That's what I thought. I was like, I wonder if he's going to recognize one of his all-time favorite authors.
Yeah, well, because in my head, picturing what's going on, I'm thinking it's modern day. But you read the date, which makes sense because this is his Jack the Ripper story in 1890. And that kind of changes the way that I'm looking at the story now.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, I haven't read that yet. And now I want to read it.
Well, that's a good thing.
Yeah. So yeah, that threw me for a loop.
Yeah, it's hard to recognize if that's George if you're used to A Song of Ice and Fire, because I wouldn't have put that together, having only read his A Song of Ice and Fire books.
I mean, it definitely makes sense because he's setting the tone very early, but also keeping it a little light because
Yeah.
he's like...
And a murder.
Yeah, so he's it's George doing George things.
Okay.
But the big thing was like, I guess you purposely didn't read the date.
Yeah.
To start with, because I might have been able to put it together.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was...
I wanted your impression based on the content.
Yeah, that was a fun one.
Yeah, I think so too. All right, you ready for the next one?
Yeah, sure.
You're gonna appreciate this.
Oh boy, you're gonna read something that I'm not interested in, and then I'm gonna praise it. You're like, you actually want to read this?
I don't know. No, I think you are interested in this.
Okay.
I don't think it's like high on your priority list, but I think you are interested in it.
Okay.
But this may move it up. Okay, you ready?
Sure.
My coffee tastes like dirt.
That's it?
That's it. That's the first line.
Well, it's a funny first line.
You want the second line too?
Yeah, also, my coffee tastes like dirt. It's 5 words, so.
Yeah.
Very short first line, which probably makes it, like modern day, but it's really hard to tell the genre, so I have no idea.
All right.
I need the second line.
My coffee tastes like dirt. I'm not really sure if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
In what universe is that a good thing?
I mean, isn't coffee kind of supposed to taste like dirt? That's the third line.
What the hell is this? It's not fantasy. It's not sci-fi. It's not. That'd be a weird way to open a horror book, or a weird way to open any book. What is this?
It's a thriller.
Oh, okay. Is it? Okay. Is it by an author that I've read?
Not that I know of.
Okay, then I have no idea. Also, it is funny, but also now I just have questions more than anything.
What questions do you have?
Why did the author open the book with this about coffee tasting like dirt, and also like the character thinking that coffee is supposed to taste like dirt? Again, I'm not a coffee drinker, so I can't relate to this at all.
That's why I said he would appreciate someone saying it tastes like dirt.
I don't know. It's just weird. I have questions, and not really in a good way.
Okay.
That's what I'm gonna say.
Will it help you to tell you that this is more of like a young adult thriller?
A young adult? How many?
Or like younger thriller?
How many young adult thrillers do we have? Not very many.
Not very many, but we have a few.
The one I can think of is Swipe Right for Murder.
Yep.
Okay. Well, that kind of gave it away. Okay. Well, yeah, I guess that makes sense to start off like a younger thriller with more of like a funny line.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he was kind of unsure about picking this up before this, and now you're still kind of more unsure.
Yeah, but I mean, it's very rare for me to read like the first page of a book and DNF it, so I would read like the first chapter at least.
Okay.
But that first bit, I'm kind of like, eh.
You don't think you're going to love it based on first impression?
What's the next book?
All right, you ready for the next one?
Yes.
A sealed envelope is an enigma containing further enigmas.
Huh. I feel like maybe I haven't read the book, but I feel like I've like read that line before.
Okay.
Let's read it again.
A sealed envelope is an enigma containing further enigmas.
My initial reaction is that it's fantasy. And also, I do like this line, also.
Okay.
I don't know, I like the word enigma.
Okay.
So, uses it twice.
Yeah.
But yeah, sealed envelope makes me think like it could be like, like an old time. I don't know. That's my initial impression. I could be totally off, but is it fantasy?
I don't think it's fantasy, no.
You don't know what it is?
I'm not exactly sure what genre it is. I would probably say it's like historical fiction of some sort.
Oh boy. What historical fiction do we have?
I don't know.
That I'm interested in.
I don't know.
Am I interested in this book?
As far as I know, yeah. You were told to read it.
I was told? What does that mean?
You'll find out when I tell you what it is. You'll know.
Oh, God.
No, I can't tell you who told you to read it because that gives it away.
Well, not too many people tell me to. Is it Ian?
No, it's not Ian.
Okay, so I was say Shutter Island?
No.
Okay. This also could be horror, maybe? I don't know.
Do you want the second line?
Yeah, because that Because so far, all I have is a sealed envelope, which could be modern or it could be historical. I don't know. Well, you said it's historical, so I don't know. I don't know what to think.
It's historical.
I need more context.
Or it's modern with historical things in it. A sealed envelope is an enigma containing further enigmas. This particular one was of the large, bulky manila variety with the name of the laboratory stamped in the lower left-hand corner.
Laboratory.
I don't think it's historical fiction. Sorry. I got that vibe from like the beginning of the synopsis. I think it's like modern fiction, but like with historical elements in play.
Okay, well.
If that makes sense. Because now I know something.
Okay. Yeah, as far as knowing what this is, I'm clueless. I like the first line better than the second line.
Okay.
But I'd still be intrigued enough to read further on.
Okay. So you think this would be something you'd like?
I don't know, but I would. I think I'd have a hard time knowing. Like the first line has to be like really good for me to be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna love this.
Okay.
It's really kind of like the first few pages I'd have to read to know for sure. But I like it enough to keep reading.
Okay. You want to know what it is now?
Sure.
It is the Flanders panel, and Sharon told you had to read this.
So, I think it's historical in the sense that like a lot of the puzzles and stuff in it deal with history.
Yeah, I think it follows a character who does art restoration. And I think like,
Yeah.
because the beginning of the synopsis says, a 15th century painting by a Flemish master is about to be auctioned when Julia, a young art restorer, discovers a particular inscription hidden in the corner. So yeah, I just read like 15th century and I was like, oh, I think it's historical fiction, but it's not. It's modern fiction with historical things in it. I think this is more of like the vibe of, what's that movie? National Treasure is what I'm thinking of.
God.
I could be wrong on that too. But the tagline says, a beguiling puzzle, a game within a game within a game, solved in perplexing but entertaining fashion.
Yeah, this is a book I've had for a long time, and I've never been like in the mood to pick it up. Just never been a book that I've been gravitated to read. And the first line was good, and then the second line, I'm like, eh.
Okay.
I mean, eventually I'll get to it, but it's not like a book that I like need to read.
Okay. Are you ready for the next one?
Yes.
He's young and likely innocent, and I wish it made a difference.
He's young and innocent and what?
Likely innocent.
Okay.
And I wish it made a difference. I think this is when you need the second line on too. Because it changes how you view the first line.
Okay, well, off the bat, like the first line, yeah, it could go in a lot of different directions. It could be, mystery thriller, horror, could be even modern fantasy. I don't know. So, yeah, I guess I need more context.
Okay. He's young and likely innocent, and I wish it made a difference. If he doesn't move in the next 3 minutes, this kid has to die.
Oh, God. If he doesn't move in the next 3 minutes,
this kid has to die.
Oh, God. Well, that second line is pretty good. I'm definitely intrigued why he has to die and why, like why wouldn't he be moving in the next 3 minutes? So, all of that's good.
You want the third line as well?
Sure.
That I think will help you pin down the genre.
Okay.
He's young and likely innocent, and I wish it made a difference. If he doesn't move in the next 3 minutes, this kid has to die. Most people don't understand my work. They think murder is the hard part.
They think murder is the hard part. Okay, well, I'm guessing it's a horror.
No.
No?
No.
Thriller?
No.
Then what the hell is it?
Who does the murdering? And what genre are they found in?
I'm so confused. What is this?
This is assassin fantasy.
Assassin fantasy?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Is this a book I'm interested in reading?
It's a series that you started that you talked about potentially
Is it
revisiting.
Brent Weeks?
Yes.
So what is it the first book?
It is the first book in the sequel trilogy, Night Angel Nemesis.
Okay.
So this is one that I don't know if you have interest in. I do know you have said you want to go back and reread The Way of Shadows and potentially try Night Angel as a trilogy again. I don't know if you have interest in continuing beyond.
Well, I'd have to read the trilogy first.
Okay.
I liked the first book, and then the second book I DNF'd for reasons.
Yeah.
So I would hopefully give the second book more of a fair shot, and then just eventually read the trilogy. But that's the first few lines of the first sequel book.
Yeah, Night Angel Nemesis.
Okay, well, I liked it.
Yeah. So this potentially is like bumping it up your radar a bit because it's not something you were like that bothered to get to, but you're a bit intrigued by this.
Well, I mean, it all depends on how I like it, like how
you like
how the reread's gonna go.
Okay, that's
because I mean, I could reread the first book and not like it as much as I did the first time. I don't know.
Impossible. I'm just saying that because I love it.
So I'm changing tactics here because that blindfold is hurting my eyes. So I'm gonna do a reverse. Oh God, I might need help.
No, it's funnier to watch you do it.
I'm gonna do the reverse sweatshirt tactic and put this hood over my face.
Okay.
And I definitely cannot see anything. So, yeah, this is definitely more comfortable. It'll probably be more hot by the time I'm done, but I think this will work better.
Okay.
For me personally.
Okay.
So what's the next book?
The next book.
Just tell me the title.
No. Absolutely not. All right, you ready?
Yes.
First line of the next book. Entitlement has a particular stench.
I like that line.
Okay.
And again, this could go with a lot of different genres, so I'm not sure what that would be, but initially, right to the point, and I like it.
Okay. Do you want me to read you the next couple lines?
Sure.
Entitlement has a particular stench, pungent, bitter, almost brutal. Teddy smells it coming.
Boy, who is Teddy and what predicament is he in? Yeah, I'm intrigued.
Okay.
Teddy definitely makes it sound like it's not fantasy or sci-fi.
Yeah.
It's just kind of a generic name. Is it like a thriller?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, I don't really know what this would be about, but I am intrigued by the first few lines.
Okay.
So what is this?
It's a hardcover.
The hardcover thriller?
Yeah.
Is this Shutter Island?
No.
Because we don't have a lot of hardcovers to begin with. So.
No, we don't.
Uh,
I will tell you that this is kind of interesting because this is one that you were pretty nervous about trying and that you didn't think you would like.
Oh
So the
boy.
fact that you're enjoying the first couple lines is very intriguing and will make a certain someone very happy.
Oh, why was I nervous about this book?
Because you have read something else by this author that you did not enjoy.
Boy. How recently?
Like a year, 2 years ago.
I have no idea. What is this?
Well, I will tell you that it's going to make Ian very happy.
Okay, so who are some of Ian's favorite? This is a thriller author?
Mm-hmm.
I'm completely blanking. I have no idea. What is this?
This is For Your Own Good by Samantha Downing.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, the premise of this one I don't remember what it is, but I remember us like looking at the premise and it sounded good.
Okay.
What's the premise?
The premise is it's about a teacher who's won the prestigious Teacher of the Year award at his academy. He says his wife couldn't be more proud, though no one has seen her in a while. Teddy can't really be bothered with a few mysterious deaths on campus that are looking more and more like murder, or the student digging a little too deep into Teddy's personal life. His main focus is pushing these kids to their full academic potential. All he wants is for his colleagues and the endlessly meddlesome parents to stay out of his way. If not, well, they'll get what they deserve. It's really too bad that sometimes excellence can come at such a high cost.
Yeah. That makes sense for the first few lines of what we got. So yeah, I'm definitely very intrigued to read this book now.
Okay, so you think you have a chance of liking it?
Yeah, I mean, I have a chance of liking any book, but, you know.
But you're vibing with the opening.
Yeah, I like the opening.
Okay, sounds good. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay. Fuck.
Fuck?
Fuck.
That's the first line?
That's the first line?
Well, fuck. I don't know. That's, I don't know, kind of a cheap first line to have, but I guess it depends on what kind of story you're wanting to tell, and obviously I need more context.
Okay, let me read the second line. Fuck. The boy was gonna get himself killed.
The boy was gonna get himself killed.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Is it another thriller?
No.
Horror?
No.
Mystery?
You're gonna need a couple more lines, I think.
Mystery?
No.
Okay, I don't know then.
So, fuck. The boy was gonna get himself killed. Back off! Aronach put down his drink, leaned back, and rubbed his dusty, mottled brown hands across his face and behind his neck.
Read that last part again.
Aronach put down his drink, leaned back, and rubbed his dusty, mottled brown hands across his face and behind his neck.
Aronach?
Aronach.
This is fantasy?
Yep.
That's a weird ass name. What fantasy would start off with just fuck?
I don't know.
I'm trying to think.
What are your impressions of it starting that way? Like, does it make you want to read it? You're focusing more on, like, this is a guessing game for you to guess what it is, and I'm just trying to get whether you are vibing with it or not.
I know, but I don't know. I guess just having fuck without any context doesn't really mean a lot. Like, maybe if I knew what the premise of the book was and I was more familiar with it, but, like, just the word fuck, like, it's obviously shock value, but I don't know what to be shocked about.
The boy was going to get himself killed. Somebody's going off to do something daring.
Yeah. So, obviously knowing that it's fantasy, it's definitely modern fantasy.
Yeah.
Is this a book that I'm interested in?
I think so, yeah.
Okay. I'm trying to think of, like, modern fantasy books that would kind of have the goal to start out that way. And kind of the one name that comes to mind is, like, KJ Parker.
No.
No? Okay.
He sets his stuff historically, so I think the prose is a bit different.
Okay. Well, yeah. I guess the rest of it is good, but, like, just starting out a book with fuck, I think, is a little silly.
Okay.
Yeah, so I don't know what this is, but can you read the other lines?
Sure. The boy was going to get himself killed. Back off! Aronach put down his drink, leaned back, and rubbed his dusty, mottled brown hands across his face and behind his neck.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to think of this. I'm not, like, initially loving it, but I would probably just continue reading.
Okay. I've shown them what it is.
What is it?
It is The Lost War by Justin Lee Anderson, and this is dark fantasy.
Okay, well, that makes more sense. I'm kind of like on the fence of if I want to read this or not.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Like I think you want to read it, but I don't think you're like,
Well, you're more of the dark fantasy person than me.
Yeah, that's true. So did those first couple lines do anything to sway your opinion, or are you still pretty like,
Meh.
Yeah, that's what I figured. But there you go. So like the vibe you got from the synopsis matches with the vibe you're getting from like the first couple lines.
Well, that's good.
On this day of days, there was an unfamiliar stirring deep inside the dozing heart of the Hayholt, in the castle's bewildering warren of quiet passages and overgrown ivy-choked courtyards, in the monks' holes and damp, shadowed chambers.
Well, this is definitely more, I don't know if it's like classic fantasy, but it feels, like the Lynn Flowing. It definitely feels like more classic fantasy prose.
Okay. What else you got?
Initially, I didn't retain any of that. So read it again.
Okay. On this day of days, there was an unfamiliar stirring deep inside the dozing heart of the Hayholt, in the castle's bewildering warren of quiet passages and overgrown ivy-choked courtyards, in the monks' holes and damp, shadowed chambers.
That's a very long sentence.
Yeah.
And very descriptive.
Yeah.
I'm trying, like even just the second time I'm trying to remember everything.
Mm-hmm.
So initially, not my favorite first line.
Okay.
Is this at all like a book that I'm interested in?
Well, you own it and it's here just for you. So, yes, kind of.
What do you mean just for me?
Like, I have no interest in reading this.
Okay. Well, am I on the right track where it's like older fantasy?
Yeah, and there's a specific reason you want to read this.
Do you think the second line would help at all? Or is it just kind of more of like that same stuff?
I'll just read you the second one. Courtiers and servants alike goggled and whispered.
Goggled and whispered?
Goggled and whispered.
Good Lord. Yeah, initially I do not like the prose of this.
Okay.
Yeah. Is this something like, is it like, no, I was going to say like Cavern of Black Ice maybe?
No.
So I'm trying to think of like old, wait a minute. Is it fucking Dragonbone Chair?
Yep.
I knew it. Oh, this makes me not want to read it more.
You want to read it because it's inspired your favorite author, George.
Yeah, but the writing, I don't love the writing.
Exactly. You're unsure.
Yeah,
I mean,
to be fair, this should have rung a bell because I started this book a couple years ago. I read the first 7 chapters.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I softly DNF'd it, which I rarely do. But yeah, like those first couple of sentences are just very unremarkable and very descriptive, yet somehow very hard to retain.
Okay.
For me. So not a great sign that I've read this before and I didn't even initially recognize it.
Okay. You ready for the last
like
one?
Usually sorry. Like usually if you've read a book before, like sometimes the first line can at least
jog your
be
memory.
Somewhat familiar, but that one I had no idea until you kept giving me clues.
Okay.
All right, yeah, that makes me even more so not want to read the series.
Okay, so the last and final first line. On a Tuesday in May, in her 37th year, Rachel shot her husband dead.
Oh boy. So I don't love when people say like in her 37th year. Like just say like she's 37. I don't know.
Okay.
So that's a little annoying. But what's the what's the sentence again?
On a Tuesday in May, in her 37th year, Rachel shot her husband dead.
Okay.
You need to hear the second line.
Okay, I just will say, like, I am initially intrigued, but I don't love, like, in her 37th year. Like, just say, like, she's 37. Come
Okay.
on. So I don't love that, but I am intrigued that she shot her husband.
Okay. So on a Tuesday in May, in her 37th year, Rachel shot her husband dead. He stumbled backward with an odd look of confirmation on his face, as if some part of him had always known she'd do it.
This definitely feels like it should be horror.
Well, I don't really know exactly what genre it is, but that would track. I wouldn't be surprised if it's categorized horror, though it was on the shelf with our thrillers.
I think there's some horror mixed in there.
Okay, yeah. So, I mean, based on what I know, for reasons, it could be horror.
Okay. Is this a book that you know that I'm interested in?
Yes.
Okay. Is it an author I've read?
Yes.
Okay. Well, now I'm more confused.
Good.
Um,
What do you think? Other than like not loving that the author has said like 37th year, are you intrigued by what has been said so far? Like that she shot her husband and that he sensed it coming, or wasn't surprised that she did it?
I was definitely intrigued by the first line, and I'm even more intrigued that there's feelings of like the husband's kind of figuring out like, oh yeah, I knew this was going to happen and it's too late. Like
Okay.
that kind of feeling. So I do like that.
Okay.
Like, and you're getting all of that in just 2 sentences, which I like.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm intrigued. The only thing is just, I don't like that one part, but
37th year.
I'd get over that quickly probably.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm intrigued.
Okay.
I'm just now. Would a third line help at all?
Oh, I just closed the book on us. Hang on. Maybe. On a Tuesday in May, in her 37th year, Rachel shot her husband dead. He stumbled backward with an odd look of confirmation on his face, as if some part of him had always known she'd do it. He looked surprised, too. She assumed she did as well. That was 4 lines, technically, but it's fine.
Wait, read those again?
He looked surprised, too. She assumed she did as well.
So
she was surprised that he wasn't surprised, but that he looked surprised.
Wait, I think I read. Wait. Read it again.
On a Tuesday in May, in her 37th year, Rachel shot her husband dead. He stumbled backward with an odd look of confirmation on his face, as if some part of him had always known she'd do it. He looked surprised, too. She assumed she did as well.
That last line, she assumed she did as well.
Mm-hmm.
That's saying, like, she assumed that she looked surprised when she shot him.
Mm-hmm.
So why would she think that she looked surprised shooting him?
Because the next line says her mother wouldn't have been surprised.
Good Lord. What the hell is happening in this book? I need to know what is going on in this book.
So you want to read it?
Yes.
Well, that's good because I think you have a buddy read coming up for it.
What? What buddy? No, I don't need any more buddy reads. Thank you very much. What is this?
You have a plan to buddy read it with someone at some point, but I don't think you've set a date.
Oh, is this the Dennis Lehane book?
Yeah, Since We Fell by Dennis Lehane.
Okay. Well, this makes sense. Oh, sweet release. Oh God, Blinding Lights. Oh, but yeah, that makes sense from what I've read of Dennis Lehane, which is only one book.
Small Mercies.
Yeah, he's very good about creating characters that are very morally gray, and these people sound like they're in a messed up situation, which tracks well.
Okay.
But yeah, those were some interesting picks for this first line video.
What was your favorite first line?
My favorite, Yeah, thank you for showing me the titles. I think maybe the Tchaikovsky one was pretty good.
Okay.
Because that one was funny because like I knew I would like it, but I got the genre completely wrong.
Yeah.
So that was fun.
Yeah.
So yeah, probably the Tchaikovsky one was really good. The George R. R. Martin one I did like, especially with the second line, but it did, again, that threw me off because not knowing the date was,
And I just wanted to see if you would recognize one of your favorite authors, to be fair.
Yeah, and probably some of my least favorites, obviously Dragon Bone Chair. Like I knew right away, like that was like classic fantasy prose, which I don't normally jive with. Also The Lost War, like just the first sentence of fuck, I thought was kind of silly. And I don't normally love darker fantasy, so that makes sense.
I love emotional, reactive characters, so the first line being fuck on that one is perfect for me.
Yeah.
Because right away you're getting a character who has feelings.
So yeah, overall some interesting picks.
Yeah.
So this was me reacting to first lines of books that I have not read.
That are on your radar or TBR or want to read.
Well, most of them are now. Some of them might be getting booted.
Oh boy. I mean,
Dragon Bone Chair.
that's partly why this is such a fun thing to do, because it really makes you kind of hone into trust your instincts. And especially like once you have gotten the reveal, then you feel really validated in what your initial impressions were. Or sometimes you can be really surprised and say, oh, I need to try that.
Yeah, I will say though, like I've mentioned earlier, sometimes, like some of my favorite books of all time don't necessarily have the best first lines.
Yeah.
So I always need to give it a fair shot and to read, like at least the first couple of chapters to know. Yeah, I can usually tell right away because if you guys have been watching my channel, I'm prone to DNFing books a lot sooner now.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm often able to tell whether I'm gonna like something or not.
Yeah.
So I need more than the first couple of lines, but
I think I had stronger reactions when we did this challenge.
yeah, you were. I think your video was better. Go check it out below. You were definitely more analytical about it. I'm just kind of like sitting here like, yeah,
trying to guess what book it is.
Yeah, I turned it into a guess the book challenge.
Yeah, exactly. Like that kind of to me like defeats the purpose. Like I wanted your impressions on the writing, not based on what the book was.
Yeah, I guess for me, I need it in a more.
You need more context.
I need more context, and I need it in a more total sense. Like I can't judge a book by a couple lines, which I know this is the whole point of the video.
Yeah, I mean, it's a fun experiment to try, I think. Because I think in some cases you could. Like in some you got it pretty bang on for what you think based on everything you know.
Yeah, but in general, I need more.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's fair.
It was a fun experiment, but yeah, definitely go check out the video with her because she was more analytical and she had more thoughtful things to say about all the first lines I picked out for her.
I think I just had more feelings about them.
I don't have feelings.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. You are just more reserved and like waiting to form your feelings, whereas mine is just like very off the cuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go. All right, this is still fun. Definitely let me know what you guys thought of all of these first lines if you played along with me down below.
I want to know what your impressions of all of these were and whether you also had the experience of kind of feeling valid in your initial impression or if anything surprised you.
After hearing these first lines, are you interested in picking up any of these books, or the reverse? Are you kind of dissuaded from checking out any of these books?
Yeah.
Comment down below.
Yeah.
Also, if you want to see us do this again, but maybe this time she'll be the victim, and I'll pick out more first lines for her to check out. Comment that down below.
Yeah, we'd like to know.
And yeah, this was a lot of fun. Thanks for picking out the books.
You're welcome.
And thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Continue to subscribe for more content. And down below, we've got Bookish Trevor Discord, tons of read-alongs and buddy reads, and we've got Battle of the Bands going on. Patreon down below where you can support me there for as little as $1 a month. and Amazon wishlist if you want to buy me a book. Thank you so much for watching and have a fantastic day.
Bye.
Bye.